Welcome to my Nepal map guide for tanks. I'm going to jump straight into it, no intro. So we're going to start on Village. So Village is going to be a Brawl-fest. So for the very first point, you typically want to go out through upper door, but if your team is stacked on central door and they have a Lucio or Symmetra, go with them. The difference is not that significant. You're going to go out through here, and you're going to run out, and then you're going to meet in this area, okay? This fight is really important on control maps / King of the Hill. I'm going to refer to them interchangeably as the same thing. So on control maps, winning the first fight is absolutely critical. I would say the team that wins the first fight probably wins like 60% of the time at least. It's a very sizable advantage because on control, you only need to win about 4 fights, sometimes 3 if you stagger, to capture a point. So very, very important to win the first fight. So speed is really, really critical. If you want to maximize your win chances, you should actually tell a support to go, especially a support that can teleport or fly, like Mercy or Kiriko. You should tell them to go Lucio to speed everyone out because it is really, really, really important to get out of here soon. The first team that gets out this door is going to be able to set up out here and then spam the heck out of this choke. And so the opposing team that comes out late, and you're actually going to see this in my game, is going to get spammed to all hell, and they're just going to die. Very, very important to get out here first. If you have a sizable speed advantage and you have spam, you just straight up win. Like, it's very, very easy to win. Let's say hypothetically that you do not have that speed advantage, or it ends up being even. If you're late, you're just gonna die. I don't have any tips for you. If you come out late, you're going to die. But the thing is, you don't know what the enemy comp is, so you don't know if you're gonna be late or not. But let's assume that you do arrive at the same time. Probably most important is to control this, let's call this shed. So to control this shed, so as a tank, you're going to play all the way up here and hold this space right here and play this corner. And when you need health, you stop, right? You wait here and you come back out. If you're Ryan, you can swing, or Risa just spam out here, whatever it is, and control. So it's very common to see both tanks on this side and on this side. If you're a pokey tank, right? If you're like a Sigma, for example, you can play Stairs or Roadhog as another example, or Junker Queen. You can play the stairs a little bit, but you don't want to back up too much. Generally speaking, this fight over here is going to determine who's going to win the point, okay? The first team that flinches and either goes back through the doorway or retreats towards point almost always loses. So the team that backs out or dies, obviously, like if you don't back out and you just die, then it's not going to work. But the team that backs out first is probably going to lose, because let's say that I'm playing here, your team starts retreating to low ground because we're getting ahead of you in terms of damage, abilities, etc. Then I just chase you down and kill your backline. Okay, if you go through doorway, great. Then I just rotate down, I cap point, and I go back and hold normal. All right, let's say that you win the first fight. Now let's talk about how to defend the point, or win any fight, right? How do you defend the point? So as a tank, you have basically the same option, right? Which is to figure out which way are the opposing team going and hold that choke, because the chokes in this map are very oppressive. This choke, obviously, we already discussed, is really, really brutal to get through. This choke can also be very, very strong as well. I'd say the difference is that if your team is very spam heavy, this choke is stronger. Well, if your team is hit scan heavy, this choke is stronger because you have so many spots that you can shoot at them from. Right, so many spots that you can shoot at them from, versus hit scan's not quite as strong here, versus like a Junkrat, Pharah, etc. Spamming this doorway is murder. But generally speaking, you're going to sit up here and be like, okay, if they're going main, I'm going to mirror them, right? If they go top, I'm going to mirror them. Okay, so if they go top, I'm going to go here. I'm going to try to play this doorway. Like if I'm Ryan or Arisa, for example, if I'm like a Sigma, I'll play right over here, for example, and just spam the heck out of the door. If they go main, if I'm Ryan or Arisa as a close range heroes, I play up close, right? If I'm a poker, I probably play here, maybe play up top or over here potentially. All viable options. For the record, if you stand right around here, it's not like very precise, but like basically anywhere in this area, you can hear which way they are going. But they can fake you out, which is something we'll talk about when you're on offense. Note here, there's no health packs here that you're going to care about as a tank other than this one and the mirrored mega on the other side. That's pretty much the only health pack that you're ever going to grab with any regularity. Maybe this one. Obviously not Ball. Ball plays his own game. In fact, I would say, generally speaking, for my tank guides, they generally do not apply to Ball, other than knowing where your team is probably going to set up, because Ball plays so differently and has so many crazy rollouts. Doomfist also similarly has, basically should have his own map guides for every single level, which I'm not going to do. Anyway, so you're probably going to be grabbing this mega. Like, for example, if you're fighting up here, you've done good damage, you drop briefly, get the mega to reduce some stress from healers, and go right back up and start contesting again, something that you can do. Okay, so again, on defense, try to contest, right? Try to squash them in the choke, or hold them to the choke as much as you possibly can. If you can't and they get in, fine, it is what it is, okay? So If they come this way and you start losing, don't try to stay up here, right? Once they start pouring through, once you've lost control of the situation, drop and play inside of the point. And then play, you're probably going to play like somewhere in the back over here, or play the close corner if you're a close range hero, and your team is going to set up on this corner and this corner is typically what is going to happen, okay? Just let them have it at that point because there's nothing you can do to stop it once they pour through. If they go main and they're getting through, right? Let's say it's a Reinhardt and he charges through or something like that, figure out, hey, most likely you will have an opportunity to go after the back line right now, especially if they have slow heroes like Ana or Zen. This is a great opportunity to just kill them right now. In general, I would say that you should prioritize killing over point. So for example, the Ryan charges over here and immediately gets on point of like, Ryan Tracer or something, or Ryan Reaper, just kill the back line. Kill the back line, right? They cap, go on the point, and then 5v3 them or whatever, 5v4, whoever else is on point, and then win the fight and recap it back. Much more important to win point, or rather, win the fight, right? Prioritize kills than it is to control the point if necessary. Though obviously, if you're losing the fight, you should always die on point to stall out. Okay, so let's talk about offense. So offense is going to be tough. So the general rule here is you start out, you go up top, and this is after the first fight. Try to see if you go up top. Now, not everyone is going to hold top for a variety of reasons. For example, your DPS might be distracting them, okay? In that case, sometimes you get a free exit through here. Great. Excellent. You've done most of the hard work already. You're going to go here, then you're going to drop on point, and then you're going to play in here, and your team is going to play these corners, and then, you fight it out, is what it is. Let's say they hold you to this choke, right? They're doing a good job. The Reinhardt's sitting here swinging. They got a Junkrat over here spamming this choke, and you're not going to get through. Fine. So you go here, you recognize that's what's happening, drop, and immediately rotate and go towards point. Those are pretty much the only two ways that you can get into this point. Technically, there are other ways, okay? So there is a path that you can take through here. I will tell you that tanks will almost never take this path. It's really like a DPS route. Trying to be like a Reinhardt walking through here and going down here is even worse, because now you have the same problem of having basically only one door, but now you're on low ground. So even if you manage to get through the door, like your backline is still going to be exposed and you have no way to attack above you. So if you're going to go high ground, you might as well just go up this way. Honestly, I don't feel like it's the best design point for this reason. This middle path is like basically useless, and you rarely ever see people go through it. There is an alternate route out here where you can go. Again, the vast majority of tanks can't even take this route. Ball and Doomfist are pretty much the only tanks that will ever consider taking this route out here. As Winston Diva, it takes way too long to go out here and then set up to go attack the rest of the team. I would just focus on going upper or going main. Okay, so again, I go top. If they give it to me, take it. If I don't get it top, then drop and rotate as fast as I can and go on the point. And most likely, you should cross this way and take point. So you as a tank are going to stand somewhere in here, and your team is going to take this corner and this corner. All right. Now, why don't you attack this way up? Because not only you're not applying pressure to the point, but they're still going to kill your backline. You want to cross this no man's land as fast as you possibly can. You want to get across here quickly, quickly, quickly. All right. As this is one of the few times as Reinhardt, I think you should actually slow down and shield your team to let them go by. The vast majority of the time, I think that's not a good idea. I think on this point, I think that you probably should consider shielding and walking across if that's actually going to be helpful for your team. Okay, so if they have very, very strong setups and good hit scan and split. So let's say they have like a Reinhardt playing here with a Junkrat, and then they have an Ashe pocket and a Mercy pocketing an Ashe standing here, and you can't really get in either direction. You may need to go dive here. So that way you fake top, right, holds the Reinhardt in place, you drop here, go this way, and then dive up here to make a little bit of space. Ultimately, this point is quite defender favored. It's going to be tough to get in, but that's pretty much the best advice I have to give you. Okay, so that covers first point. Sorry, just checking my notes to confirm that there's nothing else that I want to cover. All right, so that covers first point. So in kind of a difference than usual, I'm actually going to play out a gameplay example and talk you through it, and then I'm going to do the second one, the next point. So start at the beginning of the game. I'm going to be playing Ramatra. I don't have any speed other than my own innate speed from Nemesis form. This is going to screw me over completely. You see they're already spamming the choke. I've already lost 160 health. I put shield down right away. I try to spam up the Rhine. I'm super low, and Rhine is just going to attack me, and I'm just going to get blown up and killed. So this is a great example on why speed makes such a difference. So Junkrat's able to get here faster because he can boost jump. Right, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up boost jumping. Yeah, see 1, 2, right? He knows exactly what he's doing, getting here as soon as he possibly can. Then the Reinhardt charge to get in. So you see the Reinhardt's already out the door. I'm still in the room, coming out. You see Junkrat's already spamming. I'm going to eat the spam. right? My team is pinned. The Cassie's going to die instantly to Fire Strike plus spam, and then I'm just stuck here, and there's literally nothing I can do. I don't think Ramacha's actually that good at this point. I think this is a mistake. Anyways, you can see they just roll, and as soon as this happens, like the point's just lost. There's nothing to be done about it. So we're going to reset here. Come on, Nemesis form. I immediately go low ground because they have a Junkrat. I don't want to play high ground. Junkrat spamming this choke is not nearly as bad as Junkrat spamming up this choke, right? You see the Junkrat's holding high ground. That's smart, right? Because he doesn't know if we're going to go back high ground. So he's going to play up here. Spam from this far away, not as dangerous. A lot more space to work with. I'm going to come in right now, shield off. I'm not expecting to get a hard push because I see the Rhine's already set up. I can't just walk by him. It's just not going to work. I need to work the Rhine down, okay? If I just run by, what's going to happen is the Rhine's going to cut off my backline and kill my backline. And I'm going to be all alone here against, 4 or 3 people, and nothing's going to happen. That's why I'm just working the Rhine here, right? Nemesis form, again, just working the Rhine, just dealing some damage, holding the Rhine back a little bit. Every second that he's not shielding, right, and moving backwards is great. Like, I'm forcing him back. I've created space by my presence. It allows my team to get in. Are we likely to win this fight? No, but, defender advantage is what it is. But I'm doing my job of just creating some space. Rhine charges in. I shield off, not for the Rhine, but for the Junkrat. Right, Nemesis slow him down. I see Junkrat's up there. Cool, don't have to worry about him. Again, focus on point. Once you're on point, high ground doesn't matter anymore. High ground's only powerful until you get to the point. So I need to help my team take this corner to get into the point. So I'm attacking the Rhine. I have Nemesis in a second. Pop Nemesis. Unfortunately, I've lost my Life Weaver. I'm pretty sure this fight's over. I'm just farming old charge now. Oh, we trade. Right, and then die. But it's good, right? I'm at 62% ult charge. Got a good chunk of the way. I go high ground. Why do I go high ground? Because the last time they saw me was main, and you see that this is going to work, right? The Rhine is playing main because he thinks, okay, they went main last time, plus my Brig is there for some reason. So I'm going to try to take high ground right now. Obviously, my team is not super synced. This is a quick play. I shield off, and my goal is just to take this top right here as best I can. I'm going to hear the Rhine charging in a second, and as soon as I hear the Rhine charge, I leave. Why? Because I pulled the team out of position. All 4 of them are looking main, or rather, sorry, looking upper. So I'm just going to walk back here, and I'm going to rotate to main. I'm actually going to get gripped by my Life Weaver too to make this even faster. So I get gripped to main, and now I just rotate for free. So my backline's getting attacked, but it's not so bad. We also have a Brig, so she can shield. And I'm going to on point. I hear Rhine charging. Again, try to control this corner. There's going to be some fighting here, etc., etc. I'm going to miss some punches here, which is pretty bad. Attacking, pop Nemesis form. I dodged Shatter. I knew Shatter was coming because I actually assumed he had Shatter before I did because he won the fights. Get some kills. Great. And then we're going to take the point. So I want to roll this back again and cover it because I think it's really, really important to understand why was I able to take this point, right? People will often complain, oh, my team's not coming with me, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, my whole team comes with me. This actually might not work, right? Because then they might not have rotated as fast as I would. Maybe the Rhine wouldn't have been pulled out of position, something like that. So I come top. Okay, I create pressure, I put shield down, it makes them think that I'm coming. Life Weaver, Ashe, Junkrat, they're all committed on me. The Reinhardt's like, oh, the whole team's going to be following the Vermatra. I got to come over here. He wastes charge to come over. I just back up. They all still think I'm there. Okay, then they realize too late. Oh, shoot, see the Reinhardt's already trying to rotate. It's too late. He can no longer stop us at the choke. I get in. Reinhardt makes the correct move, which is not to try to cross right now, but to try to play point. And then I play on point. I control this corner. Don't do anything crazy, right? Don't try to run out here. Don't try to run a high ground. Nothing insane. I see my Cassie's over there doing some work, right? We're gonna punch this out, and then I'm gonna. A key part of this is I dodge his Shatter and I get Annihilation off. Right? I know Shatter's coming. I dodge it right back into his side, and punch out, and Annihilation wins the fight. Okay, so we won the fight, 81% to 3. So we basically need to win 3 to 14 fights in a row. I go high ground because I know the Ashe's up here. I'm going to force her out. I don't want the Ashe to come freely and like maybe headshot somebody. So force her out. That was a bad vortex. I've already assumed because I haven't seen the Rhine that he's got to be going main. I think I actually might have heard the charge. Poke the shield a little bit because I have nothing else to poke. I vortex to slow down the rotation. This is really important, right? I'm going to slow him down to make it hard for him to get to point on time. I want to make him nervous about thinking that I'm coming after him. I'm going to work him down for damage. I've also split the team. Okay, you see the Life Weaver and the Kiriko did not manage to get in, so there's no supports with him on the point, and because I cut him off, right? So him plus the Ashe got here too soon, right? The supports were not ready. They were out of position because they were respawning or playing high ground, whichever ends up being. I recognize, again, there's only 2 people here. Cut them off. Ramatra versus Rhine, really easy to kite him. So I come on point. Right? Kiriko teleports in for Suzu. Try to kill the Ashe. Attack, attack, attack. right? Just working whatever I can. I have no, like, Life Reaver's here, so this is really important. So Life Reaver has no teleport abilities, unlike Kiriko. So if I zone him back, I know he's completely out of the fight. So you see how once he dashes here and goes to the corner, I know he's gone. Like, I know he's literally can't do anything for the next 10 to 15 seconds. So I've effectively killed him. Even though I don't literally kill him, he's not going to do anything in this fight that's going to matter. However, my team unfortunately is dead. I'm going to shield here just to block the Junkrat spam. You notice I stay on point. I look to confirm, okay, most of my team is dead right now. Ish. Right, sort of dead. So I'm going to kite as long as I can. Life Reaver's still here. I'm going to stay back because I know I have healing coming, but I also do not want the point to get capped, because the point caps and I die after. That is the worst case scenario in basically all maps, but especially in Control. Do not die without dying on point. If you're going to die, die on point to stall out as long as possible. Obviously, it doesn't matter once you're at 99%, but in general, at 48, like, I need time here. But I'm going to try to stay alive here if I can. I know Life Reaver's healing me, so I got at least some healing. I shield off here, mostly because I got a little spooked. Reiner charges away for some reason, which gives me an opportunity to go after the back line. Vortex, attack, attack, attack. Right? I see the Life Reaver's dash. I want to go for kills now. Reiner comes in, good pin. Right? Try to kite this as long as I can. I have Annihilation coming. I miss all the attacks to get it. Finally get Annihilation. But there's not enough, and we're going to lose the point. Obviously not a great time to pop Annihilation, but it's the last fight, so I have to try to do something to win the fight. So at 81%, something to note here is, like, this is final fight territory. It takes roughly 15% to get to the point at all, period. So if I die right now, it is effectively the end of the game. So that's why I'm trying to stay alive right now. If I needed to die, I should have died a little bit earlier. But just trying to do what I could to turn this fight just isn't enough. So first fight's lost. Let's talk about second point. So let's talk about Sanctum. So in Sanctum, by the way, I mentioned this on Village, but for Village, again, the first fight is a Brawl-fest, but otherwise you can play anything. Brawl, Poke, Dive, all works basically equally well. I think it probably leans itself towards Brawl the most, but not necessarily. So for Sanctum, Sanctum's really interesting because the point itself is very pokey, very long sight angles. You're going to fight around this area, so range damage is really great. But the chokes are Brawl. And after you win the first fight, you're going to spend more time in these chokes than you will on the point. So you have to make a tough call here, which is, do you want to prioritize winning the first fight, in which case Poke is really, really good? Or do you want to prioritize, once you win the fight, to have a hero that can hard hold this choke, in which case Brawl is better? I think this point is not good for Dive, except for Doomfist and Ball, who can, again, be played in almost all scenarios. But like traditional dive tanks like Winston and Diva I don't think are very good at this point, and you almost never see them get played. Diva, I would say basically never. Winston, sometimes. Because again, it's really hard to dive here. Like, once you dive in, you're hard committed because there's nowhere to get away from the enemy. So you can get really stuck out here. Also, it's hard to heal you from a distance as well. So, okay, let's talk about starting the game. So when you start the game, you are going to go out here and you're going to go high ground. How do you know which way high ground is? High ground is outside. Okay, this is outside, this is inside. So from this side, left is outside, right is inside. On the opposite side of the map, it is flipped. Again, if you were confused which side you need to go, look at it, go towards the outside. Go towards the sky, the mountains, don't go towards the inside. Okay, so go in here, right? Go out and to the right because you want to go outside. So from here, you're going to go up and you're going to play this main area right here. This is where every single mid-fight will pretty much always revolve around control of this spot, which is why Poke is so good here. Sigma, Orisa, Junker Queen, Hog are all really popular picks here. Zarya to a lesser extent, all really, really strong in this space. There's going to be a ton of spam coming at you, a lot of hit scan, a lot of explosions. Just very important to be able to have staying presence here. So you're generally going to play these stairs until you gain an advantage. Once you gain an advantage, you're going to move up to this spot right here and continue fighting. Once you are here, assuming you don't die in the next 2 or 3 seconds, fight's basically won. From here, they're all going to either die or they're going to retreat back into Mega Room, and then you can just walk forward, let your team cap, and then start contesting into the next area. So one thing to note here, this Mega may be valuable. As a tank, you will not usually grab this, but it is possible. Especially sometimes you get into a weird situation where, like, let's say you're playing Rhine here and you walk up and then the other Rhine decides, like, hey, you both think you can win this fight, you both think you have an advantage, you walk up and you start swinging each other. It might be very important to race the Rhine to the Mega and get the Mega and win the fight that way. Very, very important. All right, let's say that you, actually, before I continue, I do want to note there is an alternate way to take this point that almost never happens, but occasionally does. I would say 1 out of 20 games. So there is a possible way to avoid this. So typically teams will run out this way and go and play stair. Okay, so they'll stay somewhere in this area, and then the tank will be here, and there'll be maybe like one hit scan or somebody over here. An alternate way to play this map, especially if you have Lucio or Junker Queen, is to go inside, speed through, and then flip the point this way, and then go down this route, pushing them back into this small area, and then killing people who are stuck in the back who are unable to rotate fast enough. If they all manage to rotate fast enough, you're screwed, because then the tank will stay here and the rest of the team will go all the way to this side, and then you're stuck at long range with close range heroes and you're going to get murdered. But it does occasionally work, and I will note it as a viable strategy. Okay, so let's say that you control, you win this point. Where do you want to hold? The best place to hold is this doorway right here, especially if you're playing Brawl. You're going to play close on either side of this doorway. Whichever side, doesn't really matter. I think there's more of a preference for playing this side because there's more space in case they spam back versus this side, but it doesn't make a ton of difference, I feel. I personally, I think, prefer holding this side because it gives your backline, actually I think this side's better. It gives your backline more space to back up here and play hit scans like Ana, etc. Like if Ana gets pushed back from this position, she can go here and play here and still heal you. But if Ana gets pushed back from this position this way and she retreats into this room, you're not going to see her for the next 10 seconds. And that's a big problem, right? Obviously she can retreat this way, but depending on the situation, that may not be possible. Anyway, you're going to hold this choke. You personally can go left side, right side, it doesn't really matter, but your team is, going to play one of the two sides, and you're just going to swing, attack, stop them from getting through this choke as much as possible. How could they possibly get through this choke? Well, they can go this way, they can theoretically go this way, and they can go this way, in addition to diving this way. Dive heroes Winston D.Va are never going to go this way. Ball Doomfist might go that way. Again, another example of them just being an exception to like all the normal positioning rules because they have unique movement. But you only have this spot, and this spot. I can already tell you, forget about these two spots. Don't even worry about it. There's almost never a chance that as a tank you will be taking those routes. They're really meant for flanking DPS, not for tanks. Like don't be that tank who's like a Reinhardt who like crouch walks all the way over here to try to get a surprise shatter. It's gonna work like 5% of the time. It's not worth it. You need to figure out how to get through this choke. But anyway, we'll cover that on offense. So on defense, you're going to hold here. Okay? Let's say you couldn't hold here. Well, why might that happen? Let's say that you fought here and then somebody gets picked and then you back up and then you need to fight over here, right? Then next part is you're going to fight this doorway or this doorway, all right, and prevent them from coming through. That's your next best option, right? Number one, here. Number two, if you need to fall back or you just couldn't get here in time before respawners arrived, hold here. Number three, if you get pushed back from here, your final resort is to play here. A distant fourth option would be play here. Like if you're Sigma, you can theoretically throw a shield out and you can play this inside corner. Actually, this doorway as well. If you're playing Poke, I think this is actually viable. If you're Brawl, like number three is actually two spots. This spot if you're close range, this spot if you're long ranged. Okay, so we talked about the priority defense, right? Again, this spot followed by this spot followed by this spot. One of three possible options as a general rule. Let us talk about offense. Offense is miserable. I think this is the most defensive favored point of the map. I think this might be one of the most defensive favored choke points in the whole game. So it is a nightmare to try to get through this choke because you're going to have a tank who's playing close probably, you're going to get spam from the left, and you're going to get spam from the right, and it's brutal. And they're going to be sitting on a mega. So often you have two options. I would say three options. Option number one is that you have a DPS who's able to flank around them that can create some pressure, distract them, maybe touch point, maybe go after backline. That's option number one. Obviously, you have no control over that. Option number two, you get ultimates, you push them, force them to use their ultimates to kill you, then you come back when they have no ultimates, and then you kill them with your ultimates. That's probably the most common option. Option number three is you brute force your way through somehow. So you want heroes that are able to absorb all the spam here and still keep walking. So The best example of this is probably Orisa, where Orisa can guarantee to walk through this choke no matter what. It's literally impossible to stop her because of her spin and her fortify. So it is functionally possible. I think Orisa is great if you need to break this choke. Once you get through it, there's no guarantee you're going to live, but at least you will get your team like into this room and then start trying to push out from there. Another option would be Sigma. Again, Grasp very effective at eating all this, but they have a close range melee hero like Reinhardt. They can really mess up your day. D.Va is another option, but the problem with D.Va is you have no staying power once you absorb, use up defense matrix, right? After that, like even if I see D.Va, like I can just body block you here as Symmetra to prevent you from going anywhere, and then you're still gonna lose, right? I just throw shield up to block your team span, and then I end up winning. So I think Orisa, Sigma, probably some of the best ones here. You can use Hog to hook people out of position potentially. Reinhardt's also viable if they don't have enough damage. If they have like, let's say Hanzo Whittle or something, you can use Reinhardt and just shield your way through and you're totally fine, right? Hanzo Whittle, Sigma, you can just shield as Reinhardt and walk all the way through. All right, let's say that you break this first choke. So now you have the next two doorways, right? Because we talked about defense, you have this side and then you have this side. You have to make a call here based on your comp. If you are better head on, if you're a brawlier, let's call it brawlier. If you're brawlier than them, go at them, okay? And just keep attacking them, rack up damage. Don't let the tank out of your sight. Keep attacking, and kill them on their way back. If you are not as brawly, but you still manage to take this room, go the other side, right? If they're right side, then go left side and stretch out the fight and kill the people in the back line. If their backline goes all the way into like Mega Room here, just attack whoever's on point, burn down resources, and eventually you'll take it. If they play this side, which is smart, you're going to be a little more trouble. You have to come down here and figure out, okay, how can I step here? I probably can't clear whatever's on point. I might have to rotate over here and try to kill them all out here. It highly depends on what the opposing tank does. Really, really situational. Hard for me to even give advice here, but in short, like you can play from here, try to spam them out. You can also wrap this way, as I mentioned previously, even as a poke tank, and try to put more damage on the back line over there. Okay, one thing to note is if you are Brawl and that you go this way, do not drop onto the point. This is very common, I'd say at lower ranks, where they're like, oh, I'm already here. Let me drop here and go onto the point. What's going to happen is you're going to stand here, and then you're just going to get gunned down from every possible angle. So if you are doing a Brawl wrap strat, like a Brawl or Rush wrap strat, do not drop. Keep going and keep sweeping through the enemy team to go kill them. Similar note, if you are standing on the point, do not play in this room for too long. It's very common. Let's say I'm playing Zarya here, right? I drop down to 50 health. I go in here and I hide, and my healers can't see me because I'm inside of this room, right? My healers are probably standing either here or maybe here, like they might have been pushed back, like maybe they're like playing like this angle right here. Don't stay in this room too long. It's very, very common, again, at lower ranks, where tanks will prioritize staying alive too long here, so the other team will come down, take the point, and lock you into the room, and then you'll eventually die anyway because you have no access to your supports. So at some point, if you can't get enough resources and they're beating you in like the head-to-head, you might just need to die on point, even if the point's not capped. Just because this fight's over, you just need to like reset and try again with a different strategy, different hero, whatever it ends up being. Okay, let's play through the second point now. All right, so we're gonna come out here again. I'm gonna go quote unquote outside, so left side. This point's way better for a poke / brawl hero as me compared to the first point. You see they're still running the Rhine, who's straight brawl here. I shield off the Junkrat, and you see that because they're slow rotating, you see how they actually messed up here. Instead of going right, they actually went left. This video is actually great for showing a lot of things that go right and wrong. See how the Kiriko goes right, which is correct. The Reinhardt goes left, and then it's like, oh shoot, I should be over here. And see how he's hopping in the open to get across over here? This is bad. This allows me to go up and take this corner away from the opposing team. So now I have access to Mega, I have access to all these good angles, they're all focused on trying to attack me, and my team can do whatever they want. Attack, 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 Ryan tries to charge me, I dodge it, right, finish the ammo, right, try to kill the Kiriko, she climbs, I get trapped, I block, right, just chilling here. He charges me, pins me, okay, sucks, and I'm actually gonna die. So despite the early advantage, I just end up getting spammed out here. I don't know exactly what happens from a healing perspective, but I lose the Cassie somehow. And, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, right? Regardless, lost the first fight is what it is. But it's good, right? Because the game ends up being closer, and we can show you more examples. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna play the choke, we're down 1. I'm just, again, similar to last point, where I know I'm not going to win this fight because I just lost Life Weaver. I'm just spamming out to get ult charge. Just chilling. Eat the dynamite. Spam, spam, spam. Ryan tries to hide in this inside corner. That's fine, right? I can still punch him through that. He's like, oh shoot, this is not going to work. Vortex him off so to slow him down. Shield off the spam. And nobody's winning a fight here. So, we mentioned earlier, if you're a brawler, go at them. If you're not as brawly, take the long way. As mentioned, or rather, piggybacking off of that, my team is not as brawly, right? I'm playing Symmetra, they're playing Reinhardt. My team has 2 hit scans, they have a Junkrat, right? And plus Ash Dynamite. We're just better at long range. So go opposite door. Oh, Ryan happens to be charging here. Ryan has made a mistake because he crossed this corner and he has no help from his team. So now I get the opportunity to do a lot of damage to him. He gets purpled. I Vortex and I start nemesing. Right? Punch, punch, punch. Go for the back line. Again, like you see, I'm able to get in this back line. No one notices me until just now. Do some more damage. Try to stay alive here. Kite, 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 kite. Great, Ryan's dead. Some more zapping. I'm going to chase this Junkrat down. He throws trap, which I see. I kill this Life Weaver for some reasons here, and I walk into the trap anyway, and then the point is capped. So the only reason I drop here is because I see that the Junkrat is isolated. Alright, so we're going to kill the Ryan here. Junkrat's isolated. I have Nemesis form. I know I can catch him with this, and I know there's nowhere for him to go down there. He can't jump away from me inside. Life Weaver comes out nowhere. I'm like, cool, I'll take the kill on Life Weaver, and then kill both of them. And we take the point that way. But this starts, for the record, by me deciding to go long side. The Reinhardt makes a mistake by trying to come in too close to us. We do too much damage, force him back, and create space. Right? Space creation, so important. Like, if you're running at the opposing tank and he's not running away, then you've probably made a mistake. Okay, he's purple right now. I'm forcing him back. I Nemesis to make sure he doesn't do any funny business. Sorry, Vortex. Vortex is probably bad, actually. So now I chase down his back line because the Ryan is focused on trying to deal with my front line. 3 people attacking me. I'm creating tons and tons of space. Everyone's looking at me, and this allows my team to come in behind him, which again separates his team. You see how supports have a tough position, okay? Because there's nowhere for them to go. Right? Well, the Kiriko's dead. Life Weaver's like, oh, I'm gonna try to get out of here. I didn't even realize he was up there. I could have killed him at any time. And then Ryan gets cut off, and then I can go in here and kill the rest. Okay, so you cap point. Now what? Well, ideally, I want to play this choke. Right? Always priority number 1, priority number 2, number 3. I hear the Kiriko right now, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, okay, this is unusual. This never happens. I turn, I'm immediately like, wait, there's a Ryan here. I assume he has Shatter, which is why I shield right away, and I Vortex to make sure he can't get through the shield to shatter anybody. And I'm just going to punch him down. This is why you shouldn't do goofy, silly things, by the way. Not if you want to win. Just play regular. So, we take a free fight out of that. I'm just chilling here. Just spamming choke, etc., etc. Ryan's coming in. I see the Ryan's coming in. I know he has Shatter. I Vortex. If he shatters me, that's fine, right? Solo shattering me, totally fine. Shattering me plus my team, bad. I can't stop him from shattering me as Symmetra, right? I have only 1 4-second shield every 17 seconds, so I cannot stop him from shattering me. If he wants to shatter me, I'm 100% going to get shattered. But as long as he doesn't shatter to my team, I'm good. So I pop Nemesis when they all clump up. Very important. You see the timing. I gotta wait. I don't do Nemesis early. Right? This is also a Symmetra tips video. So I'm holding Nemesis until I finish all the ammo with my staff, and I see that the enemy team is clumped up, because now I can get triple hits, which is fantastic. I'm doing 240 damage a punch when I hit 3. You see that immediately forces the rest of his team back, and the Ryan is alone here. Right? I kill the Ryan. I pop Annihilation. Just going to shield here until I get health. I want to chase here. Yep, because the Ryan's dead, right? I can keep getting kills. I'm going to shield off the Junkrat death mines, death grenades. I want more kills. Can't quite get them. Ryan tries to charge into me. I dodge it. I have Nemesis form. I use that to get away. I'm like, wait, I can actually do a lot of damage here. It's unfortunate my team doesn't really follow up as much as I would hope. Again, I think they can definitely step out here and play out here, break the Ryan shield, and just kill him. But they're playing super, super passive. I think in a higher level game, they would have stepped out and killed the Ryan. And I'm going to die to spam here, which is unfortunate. But, again, it's good because it gives us more footage. So we're all dead, or rather I'm dead, which is going to result in my team dying. You should always assume that's what's going to happen. If you die, you should assume your team's going to lose the fight. That's all heroes and all roles. So I'm going to come back here. Respawning. I see Ryan's chasing after my Ana. I slow him to prevent the Ryan from killing her. Wall off on point. At this point, with the Ryan dead, like, what are they going to do to stop me? Go for the Kiriko because the Ash is too far. Punch melee. Junkrat jumps to point because he has to because it's the end. Cool. Easy. All right. Let's talk about Shrine. Okay. So Shrine, I would say, supports all playstyles. I think Poke actually feels the weakest here, despite it being relatively long sightlines because of the way the terrain slopes and there's a lot of cover. I think this is also the most dive-friendly of all of the maps on Nepal, to be clear. I also think this point has the smallest defensive advantage. I think that both Village and Sanctum can be brutal, and it's not uncommon to get full held unless they use ultimates to get through. But Shrine is a lot more even, I would say, in terms of being able to set up and do what you need to do. So let's talk about starting out the game. So you're going to start here. Again, Symmetra or teleporting up top is very common. Lucio Speed Boost is also great here. Getting to mid is good. Not as strong as it is on Village, where Village is literally game losing if you don't get there fast enough. But I think that on this map, still getting to top is fast is great. So you can come out here, go main, right? Obviously, if you're dive here, you can go over the top, and if you're Ball, play totally differently. Ball's got his own rollouts. So you're gonna go over here. So you're gonna control central mid pillar. Okay, let's call this the middle pillar. So from here, you're gonna spam, right? / fight the outside. If what happens if teams are the same speed is that their tank is going to mirror you on this side of the pillar. So you're both going to be like 2 meters from each other, fighting back and forth like this. If they are slow, and let's say they're still down here, I'm going to take this space away from you and play this corner. You do not want to play the base of this stair. This is where teams die. This is how you wipe, is that you try to play down here. Like, this is not a viable spot to stay alive. Like, for more than a second, you cannot play from here. You must go on to the point. Generally speaking. Okay, generally speaking. But you're going to come mid, and you can control this spot or this spot. Now, there are some scenarios, especially if you're playing against a dive comp, where they might go on the outside. In that case, mirror their tank, typically speaking. Okay, so for example, if there's a Cassidy out here, ignore him, right? But if there's and the Winston's here, let's say I'm playing Reinhardt, I ignore the Cassidy, I just go here and I peel the Winston, prevent him from getting access to my backline. In terms of general tips for taking the point, it really depends. Highly comp, situational, dependent. I would say that there's no health here that's going to be relevant, no health packs. So it's all about just staying alive. The big thing is, especially if the tank is playing in the right position on the opposite side of the pillar, once you cross this pillar, you are committed. Because you're going to break LOS of your healers. So you see, again, like your Ana's going to be playing, let's say hypothetically, like right here, Ana or Baptiste are going to be playing like right here. The moment you go past this, like that's crossing the Rubicon, okay? At this point, this is it. Like you are accelerating the fight dramatically, and you're going to either win or push or die, right? Or push them back, which is effectively the same thing as winning. If they go down the stairs, they lose. Same thing on Village, okay? If you have to go back down the stairs, almost always it results in a lost fight. All right. Hypothetically, let's say you do have to go back down the stairs, it is viable to go this way. It's just not likely to win. There's certain scenarios where like they're very bursty, like Junkrat fires both concussive mines off the beginning, and you need to reset for a second, and the Ryan already has control of this spot. As for Matra, I would probably go this way and try to just, attack on the side. All right, let's say that I cap this point. Now what do I do? The funny thing about this map is you don't go anywhere. Unlike other maps where you push forward and hold the choke, there is no good choke here for you to hold. This choke has no good place for you to stand close. Like if you stand over here, they're just gonna take high ground and just blow you up. And then you're gonna have to tuck into this doorway, and then your supports can't see you. If you try to play here, they're just gonna walk in to your side and then kill you. And again, from here, once you get pushed in this way, your supports can't heal you anymore, right? You're gonna get driven this way, and you're gonna get isolated, and you're gonna get killed. Generally speaking, for Brawl and Poke, do not play off the point. Just stay up here, okay? It doesn't matter if they go main. Well, let's talk about routes, okay? So they have 3 main routes to get in. They have main, they have outside, and then they have inside, where inside is composed of lower by the Mega, and then inside upper, which is going this way and then dropping down this way. I would almost never drop that way, or this way. Okay, so again, let's think about the lanes. You have mid lane, outside, and then inside, which has high and low. As a tank, you will, again excluding Ball, until a lesser extent excluding Doomfist, you will basically always be going main or inside. Those are your two only real options. And I would say, generally speaking, you're going to be going out, main and inside lower. Because inside lower is typically faster unless you're coming back from spawn and your whole team is up here, then you can go upper. The thing is, upper is easier to spam out than lower is. Lower has a lot more space and you have a mega. So I prefer going inside lower than main. Okay, let's talk about offense. So on offense, if I have speed / they don't have strong range damage, just go main. Like let's say they're running Rhine, Reaper, Cassidy. Sure, I mean, just walk main. Just walk main run straight at them. Okay, and then you can also go out and play this side too. Where you can split the angles with your team, stretch them out depending on how brawly you are. If I'm like, against that Rhine, Reaper, Cassidy situation, I might be like, okay, well, like that's a lot of close range damage. I don't want to go through this choke. Maybe I'll split it out this way. Okay, especially if they're running, like a Junkrat as well. But if they're running, let's say Rhine, Sojourn, Hanzo, I can just run up the main, right? Like that's not like the frontal pressure is not actually that problematic. For the record, Symmetra, we didn't talk about Symmetra at all. If there are Symmetra turrets on any of these points, do not walk into the turrets as a general rule. So for example, if the Symmetra has turrets set up all over here, just go outside and then fight here and then break the turrets when you have a chance, but like otherwise don't worry about them. Walking into Symmetra turrets is 90% of the time you're going to lose the fight. I would say virtually always you're going to lose the fight unless you're opening with like Lucio Beat or something similar. Anyway, that's a side note. So talking about this. So generally speaking, you're going main. Let's say they have an oppressive range damage comp. So let's say a Sigma, Bastion, Ash Pocket. You cannot go main. Walking down main is going to result in death. So once you realize that, either because you scout it or you died to it, just go inside and start going this way. It is very hard for the opposing team to play here and contest you, in my experience. There's no real cover here, so theoretically they could stand here and like swing, but it's actually quite hard to recognize when this is coming, and they have to all be in sync, and it opens up the entire rest of the map for your DPS to do something. So in my experience, you almost never get a fight right here. Generally speaking, they're not going to bother or be able to rotate in time. So go inside, right? Go lower, come back up. Now, from here, something to note about the way the map is designed, the point itself has great cover from only one direction at a time. So if you're coming main, and I'm standing here, I'm totally obscured from you, right? Also, I have people to play here, and people to play here, and people to play here, and people to play here, okay? All these great options to shoot at you when you're coming from main. But as soon as somebody ends up on your flank, you see how I can see everyone here, and everyone here, and everyone here. There is no place that is safe on the point once someone gets a flank. So when you lead your team this way, they have to flip the point. The tank is probably going to play here or one of these pillars. I would actually recommend playing one of these pillars, okay? Or they have to play all the way back here. Their DPS / support are going to play here, or here, or here. Right? So they're all going to need to rotate. And of course, the great thing is, if you have a DPS coming this way, and your Rhine, like the enemy Rhine is standing here looking this way, your DPS here can now shoot them for free and force them back and create space that way. So very, very important. Again, you can really abuse the coordinated flanking sight lines of this point to clear the point itself. Once you force their tank and team off the point, then it goes into a regular defensive hold, right? If I force them off point, I go forwards and then I stop them here, hold this corner. Or if they're on stair, I'm going to go forwards and hold this corner as usual. Okay, reviewing notes. One thing I would note is dive is going to set up a little differently on this map. So we talked about brawl and poke for the most part. Dive, when you're holding on defense, like let's say you've capped a point, often you're going to be holding up here and you're going to be listening for which way they're going. If they're going main, you're going to drop in on the back line and kill them here. If they go inside, you'll go here and drop or shoot at them from here, right? And drop down and get them. They'll almost never go through this doorway. I do not recommend going through this doorway. This doorway is a retreat path, not an attack path, if that makes sense. So if they go upper, that's fine. You can just stay here, zap, right? Or just drop and play regular. That's fine. Okay, cool. So let's watch gameplay now. 9:44. Okay, so as I mentioned, go main. I'm looking. There's a Doomfist here for some reason. I'm like, okay, I assume he's going to get out. He punches me. As soon as he punches me, I know he has no abilities to get out. Kill him. Great. Easy. We'll take the easy win. And of course, the rest of the team is just totally scrambled. This is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't really need to do anything right now to win this fight. So, reset. Again, I'm holding main, right? You see, I'm not trying to, I don't start the fight up here. I start the fight on point because I don't know which way they're going to go. Now I see that I feel like they're weak. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to start aggressing. Doom's going to go in. I get punched here. Right? Block, just get myself out. Doom dies. Chase the back line. I'm going to kill the Mercy here. Slash Soldier, yeah. So, reset. That's fine. So we're already at 35%. So let's see after this. Again, you see that I'm playing on point here. I'm throwing up there because I saw the Bastion was super low. I was hoping to get him with the Vortex. So just shooting. Reese's coming down main. This is fine. I would do the same thing as her because, you know, it's not like we are a super strong range comp or anything. She can definitely walk down main. The shield was too low. I should have put it higher, but I saw my Brig was low, which is why I shield for her right now to get her back as she was unfortunately bashing away. And you see that I'm going to play this corner right here and prevent them from getting in. Reese's is coming up, right? She knocks me back. Great. I go right back, take the space away from her, start hitting her plus her supports. Right, try to stay alive over here, get a little low. I know I'm not getting healed. I'm like, oh shoot. Try to keep it alive. Can't. I'm not exactly sure what happens there, but it doesn't really matter. They end up capping the point. So I come down main because I feel like, again, their range damage is not so bad that we can't walk through main. I notice that they are chasing my soldier. Anna's out of position. Right, gunning her down. Great, got the kill. Vortex to get the Ash in it. I shield off. I get pulled by the Life Weaver that was not a good grip. Obviously, it's totally fine shape because I had Nemesis form already. Orisa stalling me on point. This is what you should not do as Orisa, by the way. You should not allow me to walk onto the point. She should have spun me backwards to prevent me from getting onto the point. But, see, I'm going to ignore her right now and go after her backline. Bastion's going to ulti. I'm going to go after the Bastion to get the kill. First, I force Moira fade so that somebody else can get the kill on Moira. Shield off. I assume the Bastion had tank form here, but he did not. I'm popping down this, or Annihilation here. Chasing him down. I get pulled back into this for some reason. Try to finish off the Orisa, and then I die. By the way, just as a side note, my Life Weaver pulls me back into a nano ulting Orisa. Which is a questionable decision. Anyway, so they cap point, which is great. We get a chance to see some more footage. We lose the Ash here. I think I feel like I can still do this because I feel way better than the opposing team. This is not typically what's going to happen, but it's hard to get Nepal footage. Poke down the Ana. You see, I'm not trying to hard commit quite yet because I know I'm still down one. I have no advantage right now. I can't really walk up there and get any kills. I use shield for the Bastion to slow him down. Force recall from the Tracer. She's missed pulse. I want to kill the Tracer now because I know she has no rewind because I just saw it myself. Orisa makes a mistake here. So as I mentioned, you should, generally speaking, play up here. If you drop down here to go chase something, you better know what you're doing. And you see the Orisa is like, oh, hey, let me try to get a kill. So she spins down here and she's like, oh, cool, I can fight and maybe get a kill. Right? I kill the Tracer. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to attack her. I use shield, right? Bubble dancing. I can follow the Orisa down. I know that she doesn't have Fortify. I know she doesn't have Spin. So, possibility that we can do something here. I'm just line of sighting the Bastion right now. Punching the Orisa, punching after the Bastion. He's trying to shoot me. And it's doing a ton of damage. Alright, Orisa's on top of me. I'm going to bubble dance for a while. See, she can't quite get the kill. And we are going to cap the point and kill the Tracer, and that's actually going to be the end of the game. I don't think they don't get a real contest after this. So I want to rewind this fight back and explain how did I end up winning this fight, because obviously they had all 5 people, right? In fact, we only had 4 people, but the Orisa makes a mistake and then we capitalize on it. Okay, so starting from here, right? Bastion way out of position, shouldn't be there to begin with, but we're not doing enough damage, so it doesn't really matter. I poke a little bit. Tracer's shooting at me. Oh, actually no, Tracer's gonna shoot at me soon. So she's shooting me right now. I immediately spin, right? I do some damage on her. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to force rewind. She throws Pulse. I know she doesn't have any more blinks because I just saw her blink. So that's going to be it. I'm going to follow her. That's her last blink. And then I'm going to get the kill. So watching from the vertical perspective, this is going to start with the DPS making a mistake on me. Okay, but it's going to be compounded by the Orisa going out of position trying to do something here, and then now she's used spin, okay, and I hit her, do enough damage and spook her, not that she's actually taking so much damage, but like realistically my team should be here. I spook her enough that she uses Fortify, right, but now she doesn't have Fortify to use to stop the next push. Again, she should be right here with both spin and Fortify, forcing us back right now, not able to do anything. The Bastion is used tank form. I waited out, and now there's an Orisa with no Fortify, and there's going to be a Bastion with no tank form. That's her last spin. I'm going to go in, punch, 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 punch. You see that she doesn't have spin to stop me from walking forward right now, spin or Javelin, which allows me to get in here, start damaging the Bastion. I know he doesn't have Assault form, so he can't stop me from killing him, and I kill the Bastion. All right, really, really, really important is the fact that the Orisa is not doing her job of controlling space. Right? Her job is not to go down and chase me and get kills. Okay? Her job is to prevent me from walking up the point. But because she's wastes the spin there and she doesn't have Fortify to just like hard hold main and just like, you know, fight all 5 of us at once, I get in here, do good damage against the Bastion, which also forces the Moira back. She gets nervous. Now I chase after the Moira. I get low, but it's fine because I know that I'm about to get Annihilation. Right? Bubble Dance. She can't quite get the kill on me. Get the kill. And that's it. Right? That little mistake of stepping off the point to go chase a fight that she didn't end up winning is fight losing. If I'm the Orisa in this situation, even though I have the same, comparable aim in general, but just better decision making, I could just be like, look, we have the point, right? All I have to do is stay alive here, and we're good. But trying to chase me here was a mistake, wasting abilities, causing her team to panic, right? Use that early tank form, which we're able to LOS, because the Bastion doesn't want to use tank form until I'm in, okay? He doesn't want to pop it right now, where we can just LOS it really, really easily. Okay, I am going to stop there. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments.